Well, welcome to Shepparton in beautiful country Victoria for the FIVB World Tour event here in Australia. You can see some of the locals there hanging out, ready for a big match-up. It's our women's second semi-final here in Shepparton. It's coming up soon. Such a gorgeous country town. See some of the local attractions, a beautiful hotel. And there's our court. It's an early morning here in Shepparton. And our match-up, we've got the Canadians up against the Italians. Jace Pardon and Caitlin Ledoux against Marta Menegatti and Laura Giobbini. Both these teams have been battling it out all weekend here in Australia for the World Tour. And they're looking to make it through to the gold medal match here this morning. First serve. Nice rally to start the first point. Both teams a little tentative, having a bit of a swing, getting dug easily. And that one just going out for the Italians on the first point. So just starting off, they're not really firing up just yet. Yesterday in the quarterfinals, the Italians were shouting, really excited to make it through to the semis. Beautiful left-handed swing through the middle of the court with no block. 1 point apiece. Both teams obviously travelling a long way to get here from America and from Europe. Well and truly settled in now. Nice and warm here in Australia. Probably around mid-20s this morning, nice and early. Going back to the right sider and a beautiful cross-court swing. Number 2 from Italy. Menegatti with the serve. Big block from the USA, so both these teams really having to work for the first few points, working each other out. They've probably been watching each other quite a bit throughout this tournament, working out what their strengths and weaknesses are, working out who to serve, who to block. You see the signals behind the back. That indicates who to block and, well, how they're going to block that player, sometimes indicating who they want their partner to serve to if they feel that they can get a point. And that one tagging the back line. So Italy take the side switch 4 points to 3.
Change of heads here in the first set. The 21 for the ladies semi-final 4-3. Italy with the ace for the switch.
Italian ladies having quite a bit more experience on the World Tour than the USA team. Sorry, the Canadian team. The USA team, what am I saying? Lots of teams here this weekend. Big swing from USA. Great defense. Can they put it away this time? Of course, there's a new block touch rule now in play. If the player does touch the ball on the block, the beach players now have 3 shots after that. Just like indoor volleyball in the past, they've only had 2 shots. So off the block, 1 dig, and then have to put it away for a spike. But now they're trialling the 3-touch rule off the block. So the players sometimes use it, sometimes don't. They're so used to not using it. You'll see it happen quite often. Defense by the US. Meningati having a little look there, seeing both players off the net and just knuckling it, using her closed fist to knuckle that short, taking the point. So Italy still just with a 1-point lead, 5 points to 4. You see the signal there, possibly indicating to her partner to serve the player on the left side. And she did, on the left side as you're facing her. Another good little touch over the block with a closed fist. So Meningati really sees the court well, as I said. Lots of experience on the World Tour. Been around for a while. Over the top of the block and nicely into the court. So the USA staying there with the Italians. They're working hard in this first part of the match. Nice little touch over the block. Waste opportunity there for Italy. It gives the ball back to the US. What can they do here? We'll be switching sides on a multiple of 7 points. So one more rally before we switch. The US would like to go into that rally at 7-all, but let's see. That's a tough serve. The Italians give back a really big sky ball, make it tough for the US to look into the sun. Big swing, but catches it off the top of her fingers. So the side switch sees the Italians switching with a 2-point advantage. So nothing really in it at this point.
Once again, 8-6, 2 points. The difference here in this first set, the 21 ladies semi-final, Italy, the USA.
Good teamwork by the Italians, really trying to stick together. Don't often see the hand holding, but I like it. Shows that they are together. Very important in this match. It's an individual sport in a sense that one player can be served quite a bit over and over again, and they really have to focus individually, but it's also very much a team sport and very much about your relationship and working together. And that ball hitting the antenna for the Italians, so there's the red and white sticks at the end of the net. That's where the ball has to travel through, between, and of course the ball is not allowed to touch those. So bad luck for the Italians this time. Nice pass and set, and a beautiful ding again over the top of the block this time. Giambini making that point look easy. First thing here in the morning. So pretty early here in Shepparton. Crowds still waking up around the country. But we're here with you, and these girls, they've been up nice and early getting ready for this match. Oh, there was a first over opportunity for Meningati. She saw that the US girls were off the court. She thought she'd pop it over, but she missed. So that could have given them a nice little lead, but still the US hanging in there just by a point. Good intentions, but just not executed as well as she would have hoped. Nice placement to the lines. My coach used to tell me all the time, hit to the outsides of the court, get outside of that gift circle, meaning anything in the middle of the court is a gift where the players are. So good work by Giambini, hitting that ball outside. Big swing from the Americans. So taking a very short pass that time. Takes away the run-up from the spiker. And And another mistake from the Italians. They're looking for a touch on the block, but they didn't get it. So even Stevens now. Brings it right up 10-all. Both teams, nothing much in it all here. Nobody's really taking any advantage of any momentum. Bit of a back play from the Italians, changing it up a bit. So they still lead going into the break. The first technical timeout, 11 points to 10. So there's one technical timeout per set, where the players get a couple of minutes just to reassess what they've been up to, what their strategies are. Italians talking a lot about their strategies, the Americans just taking that time to focus in on what they need to do. Both teams executing fairly nicely this morning. It was a long day yesterday, very hot day, so they would have recovered with a lot of water, a lot of food. (11-10) to Italy. Great defense from the Italians, again putting the ball up high to give them time to get back into position. Easy over the block for the US. And sometimes the players work so very hard to get that ball back over the net. Caitlin Ledoux to serve. Tough float serve. Nice pick up by the Italians. Great set. Chance for the Americans. Going with a little slice cut shot. So Jace Pardon. Don't always have to hit the ball hard. Just a little off speed. There's the cut shot there from the Italians. And gives it right back. This time much better executed. So this time the Italians call a timeout. Both teams have one timeout each per set to call, in addition to the technical timeout. And they use it normally if the other team has got a bit of a run of momentum. So they're trying to stop the Americans now from creeping up. See the beautiful gum trees of Australia in the background. There might be some koalas in there this morning, watching the volleyball, overlooking the courts. Maybe a few kangaroos hopping around. I saw some on the trip down, and you can see also the blue lake in the background. Lovely setting here in Shepparton. Caitlin Ledoux to serve. Good swing from Italy there, cross court, answers with a bit of power. It's always nice to come out of a timeout and really be aggressive and show the other team, that's okay, thanks for the rest. I needed it too. Lovely deep serve. Keeps Pardon in the backcourt, but she's able to come in with some aggression of her own. So both teams just really fighting it point for point here. Now's the time for one of these teams to step up, serve some big serves. Easy side out for Italy again. Menegatti with the little trademark. You might want to call that a dink or a knuckle. It's a little closed fist, just dropping it. She comes in looking like she's going to hit with a lot of power and then just drops it over the block. Nice swing. This time the Italians starting to look a little bit more fired up. A little bit more aggression after each hit now. Starting to hear their voices a bit more. They still only lead by 1 point, 14 serving 13. That was a nice soft little swing by Jace Pardon, so gives her team another point, switching again, equal 14 points apiece. We're going to 21, and the team needs to win the set by 2 points. So if they're not 2 points ahead, we could go up, and yesterday we saw a set that went to 36-34, so it's incredibly stressful when it gets to that point. Nicely taken there by Pardon. Gets a good swing off the block. So the US now take the lead, 15 points serving 14. Ledoux with the serve. Again going to Giambini. Easily taken in defence. This time Menegati's on it. What does she do? She's off the net. She doesn't get a chance. That was an opportunity for Italy there to even it up, but now the US have their 2 point advantage, 16 points to 14. There's that dink again, but this time Ledoux takes it with a block. So now the US are starting to do something to take that little bit of a lead in this first set. We play the best of 3 sets. First 2 to 21. If we need a deciding set, we'll go to 15. I'm sure Caitlin Ledoux will be happy about that. Works very hard for this US team. After she serves, she's got to run in a block. There she goes. It's a tight set. She gets a touch on the block. Here's the new 3-touch rule. And Jace Pardon, she finds that line again. So the US now, a couple of little mistakes, couple of lost opportunities by the Italians, and all of a sudden, the US have got a big lead. Jace Pardon saw that open. She saw her dip her head down. She saw the opening and just made the easy shot over the top. So 18 serving 14. Big swing this time from the lefty. And that time, Giambini says, that's enough, no more. It's our turn to make some points. So let's see if Italy can get back up again. At this point of the match, 3 points. It's a big lead as we're only going to 21. Menegati with the serve. Oh, there we go. Italy. That block was well needed. First big aggressive block of this match so far. Ledoux, she sees she wants that cross-court hit, but taken out beautifully by the Italians. So still down by 2, 16 serving 18. Oh, and the Italians, they make it another point. So this time Menegati choosing not to set her partner on that and bumping it into the corner with her open knuckle, closed knuckle as well. So she sees it open, she has a look. Such great control with that knuckle. Nothing the Americans can do about that. So they're closing the gap inch by inch. Italy 17 serving US 18 in this first set of the women's second semi-final. Of course, the first semi-final was taken out by the US against New Zealand. So could we see a US-US final in the women's? Nice close set again with that knuckle into the corner. So Menegati really showing she's got the short knuckle, the deep knuckle. She has such a good look. She sees the opening. It was too tight to have a big swing on. She finds that corner. So Italy still only trailing by 1. What can they do here? Deep serve. Oh, big swing that time.
Sweet cross got in there.
Caitlin Ledoux.
Team USA, beautiful set.
Oh, sorry, Jace, pardon.
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 First set points, USA.
Caitlin Ledoux with the ball. Set point. Off the top of the box this time. It's so interesting because Ledoux had that covered the first one, but on the second attempt, Italy stays in this first set with aggression off the top of the block. Still set point for the US. All they need to do here is side out. That means dig, set, spike, and put the ball into the sand on the Italian side. Tough serve. It's a good set on the net. Chooses the right corner. So US, they take the first set 21-19. Be very happy with that. Joining me in commentary now, Mr. Steve Hart.
Good morning, Kerry.
Good morning, Steve. Nice of you to watch our first set. First time in here in commentary on a World Tour event with me, Steve.
Well, yes, well, there was one a few years ago. I don't know if it was a World Tour event, but there was some beach volleyball action. We did some commentary many a year ago, and it is fantastic to be alongside you again here in Shepparton. And what a magnificent day it is, too. It's been a wonderful weekend, a great tournament, and we have a terrific match here. The women's semi-final, and of course, you're not a big crowd in at the moment, but they certainly will be rolling in for the medal matches this afternoon. And two Australian men teams still alive. Unfortunately, though, Kerry, no women's team have made it through.
Yeah, it's very unfortunate. We missed out on having our #1 women's team here due to injury, and that is Taliqua Clancy and Maria Fade. Artaccio del Solar, they couldn't make it. We had the rest of our women's squad here, but they were all knocked out by the semi-final. So our last team standing, Phoebe Bell and Jess Namo made it through, finishing 5th. Unfortunately, we didn't get any women into this semi-final, but great matchups.
They performed well too, the girls, Jess Namo and Phoebe Bell. They certainly weren't disgraced by any means. It was a very close one in their elimination match yesterday. But they just couldn't quite get the job done and fly that Aussie flag for the women. But as we mentioned, two men alive today. Of course, the semi-finals coming up 9:30 this morning, Australia and the USA. That's Cole Durant and Zach Schubert, who've been in outstanding form in recent times. Have you been enjoying watching them play?
Oh, I've been loving watching the guys play. The men's program really has, you know, just gone from strength to strength. It's really encouraging to see. It's not been since the likes of Julian Prosser, Mark Williams and Julian Prosser and his previous partners that we've seen the men, you know, really in the medal matches and working hard. So it's great to see them. Lots of Aussies in the finals in the men's today. And it's great to be here in Shepparton too, Steve. It's our second time here, World Tour event. We're loving it here. It's nice and hot. It's definitely outback Australia.
It is.
I was just saying on the way down, I saw some kangaroos and might be some koalas in the background.
Yes, rural Victoria and rural Australia is absolutely fantastic. And when you look outside there today, and it's been the same all weekend, sun is shining. It gets up to around 29, 30 degrees, which at the moment isn't too bad. But as that sand heats up yesterday afternoon, I felt for the athletes on centre court. That was tough going.
Yeah, it was really, really tough going. And the girls are really working hard again out here on centre court in this semi-final. The Italians looking to hopefully even it up to 1 set apiece so they can play that third set.
And it is the USA that lead 3-2. Italy to serve. Try and get themselves right back into this semi-final.
Good effort off the block. Giambini there. So the player, once they do block the ball, they can make a play and a second touch of the ball. They keep that in play, so Nice little pokey.
Lovely little bit of work there from the Italians, and the Americans, well, they try to get there, they can't quite pull that off.
Yeah, it's just amazing. Menegatti, she has such good sight. I think that was more of a save, but normally she'll have a look, she'll just have a quick peek and see where the opening is and just use that knuckle to play the ball around. So it just takes the pressure off her partner having to hit the ball or side out, as we say, all of the time.
The Italians, though, had an opportunity with that serve and have allowed the pressure valve to just come off a little bit on the Americans. And so the USA 5-3. Taking that first set 1.
A bit of noise now from the Italians. It's good to hear. When they're fired up, they play so well. Yesterday afternoon, later in the day, they were really screaming after each point. They were so emotional.
It is good to see that sort of stuff, isn't it? The Italians, as we know, as a culture, they've got plenty of emotion, and we saw that come out of them yesterday. That's when you know that they're on their game. As they work it around the court, the Americans keep it alive. Deep it goes. And now the opportunity for Italy. The USA up to the challenge.
Both teams working so hard. Smiles from the Americans there. Because they won the point, I'm sure they wouldn't have been smiling if they hadn't, but all 4 girls really sucking it in, working hard. The sand quite deep here.
Obviously, these girls have travelled a long way to be here at Shepparton, and it's something a lot of them have to fund themselves, don't they, Kerry? It's a tough, it looks glamorous, but it's tough going on the World Tour.
Yeah, exactly. So this is one of our smaller World Tour events globally. So a lot of teams will make the decision just to come to Australia for less than a week from very far away. So for the Italians and the Americans, it's a long way. The Italians obviously a bit longer, I'd say, than the Californians. But they do often fund themselves. Some are in bigger programs, so they get a fair bit of funding. But they need to collect points. So that's the main intention, that throughout the year, all teams, they can choose which events they play in, or they can choose if they are able to qualify. And that's the other thing. To get into these events, you need points to qualify. So the Italians choosing to come all this way because they want some points, which will then help them get into the bigger events and the World Championships, the Olympic Games. It's all part of qualifying.
It's international beach volleyball right here in Shepparton, and the Americans, just to recap where we're at in this semi-final, it is Jace Pardon and Caitlin Ledoux who lead 21-19 the first set. They took that, and they're currently leading into the second set as well, 7-4. And how do you see the rest of it playing out?
Well, I'm a little surprised. I thought the Italians would be a little bit more fired up. But it's not over. I think that they've still got a lot of fight in there. The Americans are very experienced in their own country. They play a lot of beach volleyball in the States. It's very much part of their culture, more so than in Italy. So they've probably had a lot of touches. They play on the FIVB, which is the big American tour. They're just getting their wings on the World Tour. Maybe they've shell-shocked the Italians. Maybe the Italians thought this would be a little bit easier for them. The US really playing well.
There's quite a few fans starting to roll into the arena as well. Many having their morning coffee, and of course breakfast is around this little stadium. And we're really beginning to see things start to fill up here. And no doubt there's an opportunity for the locals to come down to Shepparton and see something they wouldn't ordinarily see. And of course, that is sand for a start, on the beach sand that is, right here in Shepparton. I know that blows many people away to think that beach volleyball isn't actually played on the beach at times, Kerry, but that's the case right around the world.
It certainly is. There's not many places where the big world events are set up on beaches. We play in harbours. We play at the bottom of the Alps. We play at the bottom of the Eiffel Tower. I've coached teams.
Wow.
I never got to play in Paris, but I've coached a team. Rachel Wacholder and Tyra Turner from the USA. We finished there with a silver medal, which was pretty special in Paris at the bottom of the Eiffel Tower.
Fantastic.
I'd like to see that one come back.
And isn't that the key? I mean, you can play it anywhere. This is a sport that you can really take anywhere, and the fact that well, Volleyball Australia have brought it here to Shepparton twice. You know, it's a wonderful thing, and I know that there's the food trucks outside as well. Last night there was people everywhere, and like, it might not look it on the live stream coverage at the moment, but I can assure you when we get to the medal matches this afternoon, those stands will be full.
Yeah. And unfortunately, the food trucks just smell almost too good. These poor players having to smell that beautiful food while they're out there playing. But they're pretty focused, and right now the USA are more focused and executing better, making less mistakes. And they still have a pretty good lead in the second set.
So a deep serve from the Italians as the Americans, well, a little joust at the net. And they find some nice space there. Italy close that gap, and it is 8-10, second set.
Caitlin Ledoux with the serve from the US. Going deep to Giambini again. Beautiful cut shot. It went up quite high, but there was no one home. So now Italy get their 8th point that they were after. There'll be one or two more before they have the technical timeout. Italy need to get a little bit of momentum here. To give them a bit of a run if they want to have any chance of getting into this gold medal match. Oh, big swing by Caitlin Ledoux. She said, it's not going to come from me. Strong woman from the left side. Nice cross court. Oh, and that one just hitting the line. So beautiful left-handed swing off the side. As the players sit down now for a technical timeout, have a bit of a break. And I think here the Italians, they have to step up one little level here. Oh, that's a righty there, right-handed. But they need to find something. They need to crack a bit of momentum. They need to get some serves going.
Well, you mentioned that yesterday when they were playing well, we saw that emotion. We saw those Leighton Hewitt-style come-ons coming out of them.
But in Italian.
In Italian. And that's when they were playing at their best.
Yeah. I think they need to dial up the serving. I think all four girls, there's been no real pressure that I've seen yet on the serve. They've tried a few different things. They're just serving the player and hoping that they can play defense. And you know, in my book, it's a lot harder to play defense than it is to serve a tough serve. So maybe taking a risk here for the Italians with some really tough serves. Whatever they've got in their toolbox with tough serves, that's what I'd be trying right now.
Well, in that timeout, we saw them quite animated, talking to each other, really revving each other up, and no doubt they were talking some tactics about what it is they need to do. Kerry Potas, of course, in commentary, been there in this situation before, has mentioned some of those things that they can focus on. But right now, the Americans are sitting pretty nicely at 12-9 into the second set, and they pick up another point there by the look of it. And they'll take a 4-point lead after leading that first set 1-0.
The Americans just not making many mistakes here. Just playing pretty solid, looking for the gaps. I say that as they serve an ace or an error, waiting for the call. It's an ace. So
there it is. It just dropped in. And they were disappointed with themselves, the Italian girls. I think we saw it on her face as soon as she turned around. We might have been able to see it on that shot there, but the Italian girls' face told the story.
It's another good pass. Menegatti has a look, goes with the hard hit, easily taken, and the big swing. The set was off the net, so Ledoux really needed to swing high on that, dragged it down into the net. She won't be that upset. That was a really good pull off the net.
Yeah,
they've still got a good lead, but they can't let any more of those unforced errors creep into their game if they want to win this and go through to the gold medal match.
Thought I might have seen just a little bit of that Italian passion just starting to bubble through. Could this be it? Let's just see how they turn things around, if in fact they can. Right now they've got a 5-point deficit. They need to try and close that gap to stay in this match.
Bella bolla. Beautiful ball. So a little bit more vocal, but Menegatti not looking that excited right now. She's won a point.
Yes, she still looks as though there's a job to be done and not quite sure how she's going to do it, but
Focused.
to focus and a bit of energy, that will help. Oh, lovely stuff from America.
Yeah, Pardon's really impressed me in this match. She's not the taller of the two Americans, but she can still swing hard on the ball. She places the ball really nicely. She has a nice look from the right side. And she's, of course, got Ledoux backing her up on the big block.
What about that?
Trademark Menegatti right there.
Let's take a look at it again. It just spins the body around too and knows where it's going, and there wasn't too much they could do about that. The USA.
Second set, 12-16, Italy to the serve. Second set of this women's semi-final.
So the Italians to serve, 12-16. That's what they're looking at, and a set down.
It's a bit of service pressure. That's what we need. So they're getting what we call a free ball now. They're getting an opportunity to have an easy dig set spike, and they put it away. So here we go.
A little bit of hand clapping, some come-ons, and this is the type of stuff that we're talking about on the back foot, USA. And the Italian girls of Menegatti and Garbini, they get the job done on that point.
Nicely taken by Pardon. Sees the opening, goes for the cut shot, and makes it. So she's a really steady player. Jace Pardon from the United States. That's exactly what they need right now. So easy serve to Giombini this time. What can she do? Goes cross court this time. USA leaving the whole court open, and she sees that, makes the play. So not always do you need to go with power. You watch her head. She dips down, has a look, sees it open. No problem.
Getting down to the crutch part, though, of this match and this set, particularly for the Italians. The Americans just absolutely nail that play, and they'll stretch that lead a little bit more, and they're only 3 points away from taking this match. It's going to be one turnaround from the Italians if they're to dig themselves out of this hole. That begins with just that play, and they edge up a little bit closer. 15-18. See a little breeze on there, and the flags at the background, Kerry. It's not a lot, and at the moment it's not too hot, the conditions, but that certainly will be the case as the day goes on.
Absolutely. Forecast for in the 30s Celsius today.
So what can Italy do? That's not what they wanted. Straight into the net off the serve. That's the USA. 19-15. Pardon, she serves Italy. Work it around, trying to find some court space, and they manage to find just a little bit there and keep themselves alive in this match.
Yeah, beautiful line shot over the top of the retreating blocker from Ledoux. Nicely played, but the Italians, I think they're going to have to really do something here, or the Americans are absolutely going to have to lose it, choke at this point. But the Americans so close to a semi-final on the, a gold medal match on the World Tour. It's big for them. Nice bang. So Ledoux, she's just confidence plus.
And a bunch of match points up their sleeve there. Now the USA, as you mentioned, Kerry Pott asked in commentary, gold medal effort this afternoon. That'll be something special.
Yeah, these girls, I think, won't be thinking that. They'll be thinking, let's just play this point.
Too big, and there it is. That's very happy from those American girls. Jace Pardon, Caitlin Ledoux have beaten the Italian girls of Marta Menegatti and Laura Giombini, and a very strong and convincing victory in the end, Kerry.
Yeah, they made it look easy. They were solid. They were steady. The Italians really didn't have too much aggression. They didn't have anything up their sleeves in that match to bring it to the Americans. The Americans just were very, very consistent. So they'll be happy taking that into the gold medal match. So our first women's gold medal match team, the US. Who are they going to play? Well, they're going to play the other US team. So US versus US in the gold medal this afternoon.
So confirmation of that result, there it is on your screen. USA of Pardon and Ladeau have beaten the Italian girls 21-19, 21-16 to put themselves into the all-important gold medal match not too far away. And coming up very shortly, we're going to have some Aussies on court. It'll be Cole Duran, Zach Schubert, who will take on the boys from California, Chase Frischman and Avery Drost. That's not too far away. Stay with us. We're live here at Shepparton.